Characteristics and target market of Karachi, Pakistan include both the upper class and middle class. It's what we're particularly looking for. The upper class consists of about 1% of the population, which is about 60,000 people. The middle class is about 15 to 20% of the population, and it's between 900,000 and 1,200,000 people. We're interested in both male and female, it does not matter, particularly in the age ranges of 15 to 50 years old. We're also looking for an income level of 25,000 rupees per year or more for the entire family and household. We are also particularly looking for people who have already been using recreational facilities around Karachi, Pakistan, as well as people in clubs or using any other type of entertainment activities. Um, this is so that we can receive good feedback on our surveys um, and have knowledge on the actual consumers that will be using this rather than just um, having a one-size-fits-all approach. We can have maybe a tailor-made entertainment facility or recreational facility depending on the feedback we received. Um, this target market has some difficulties with it, however, simply because of the cultural practices that Pakistan is known for. First of all, knowledge of surveys is very limited. People are not used to filling out surveys or giving out vital information to people, especially strangers. They would prefer to know the person at least before giving some of their vital information away. They're not very polite to people who make phone calls to them and start asking questions. They prefer that not to be the case. They'd rather talk to you in person or not talk to you at all over the phone. Another reason for this is also because a lot of people do not own phones, and not because they cannot afford them, it's just because they simply do not have them. Um, Most people who have them are businesses, and therefore this technology is just out of their reach. Another problem holding them back in their cultural practices is female discrimination. Most men will not it's not very likely that a man would approach a woman in the open, which makes malls and bazaar intercepts very hard, because it would also be hard for females to approach males, let alone a male approach a female. And so it eliminates kind of both forms of that, unless there's a tailor-made strategy, which we'll discuss later. We'd also on the approach that we do use, we're using tailored data collecting methods, using no phones. Mall is possible, however, it would be very hard, and cooperation, it's just a big unknown. The more likely route we will take is a mail route, by sending our questionnaire through mail somehow, some way, simply because it can reach the most amount of people for particularly good cost, and we do not have to do all the work ourselves. We are using postal services already in place, and so it is not a increased burden on our company or other companies. It is simply using what is already there. As for the actual mail survey, we will likely be using the newspaper because it's already wide circulated, it's well trusted, it's cost effective, it can reach the most people the fastest, and since people go to the newspaper for their local news, and it's a very common practice, about 60,000 to 200,000 newspapers a day, it is the most likely and most effective way we could have. We would also probably send it individually through mail, or by having service facilities handed out, maybe like restaurants or movie theaters, things of this nature, hand out the survey on the back of a receipt, or just while they're waiting in line, or any any other type of media we can get out. School surveys. This is going to be a key to our success, because part of our goal is to give recreational activities for the children, especially, and the youth, so that way it keeps them out of trouble, keeps them out of the streets. Um, the approach will be for the students to take the survey home to their parents, so their parents can fill out all the vital information. Since it's coming from a trusted source, they can hopefully answer it truthfully and willingly. Um, we might be able to offer an incentive for the students and give them a reward for bringing completed surveys, or at least the schools that we work with may be able to do that for them, hopefully, so that way it might increase the completion rate of our surveys that we receive. We hope that the adults support the children's hopes of having safe recreational facilities where they can go to have fun, and go to experience something that they've never had, and build experiences with their families that bring the family together. We could also try a door-to-door approach. This is an effective strategy, because most of the people in Pakistan prefer to meet you face to face, so you're not like a stranger to them. Um, it's the most courteous thing to do. However, with most females living at home, you might not receive as many. You may not get as many answers from the door, simply because the female is most likely to be home, and they're not likely going to answer the door for anyone when their husband's not around, and so therefore you're limited on the time that you can go to houses, and therefore limited on the amount of data you can collect. And I do not think that it could be. I don't think it is the best approach, given that we have to reach as many people out of the 6 million people as possible. Phone interviews is another possible one, but like we said earlier, it's not likely going to work because of cultural preferences and the lack of availability of phones. Another route that we will likely go is go directly to exclusive clubs that are already in existence, that already focus on like specialty events such as yachting and boating and golf, things of this nature, where the higher upper class already resides. It's most of these clubs are exclusive to the 90th percentile or higher, and we expect to get really good data and feedback from these consumers, because they have the most disposable income to spare, and I believe they would love to see more recreational facilities in their area, so they could have more things to do with their money, and not have to travel so far, because most of them do like to travel abroad when they do take vacations. Our questionnaire design is going to be not a one-size-fits-all approach. We want to be able to customize it as much as possible using an EDIC approach, so that way we get the best feedback possible, and we can tailor make our strategy to Karachi, Pakistan, rather than base it somewhere and making an unrealistic goal. The recreational facilities in place is going to be one of our focus topics in the questionnaire, because we want to know if these people have visited the recreational facilities that are around them already. If we want to know if they've had positive experiences or negative experiences. We want to know if they visited facilities abroad, how they like them, what they like the most about them, if it's even an interest to people. Another big focus is the willingness to travel. We want to know how far people would be willing to travel to get to this location, because that will play a big role in where it actually gets placed, if everything goes as planned. Lastly, in the last portion of the questionnaire, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the private part of the family, which is the age, income, family size, and we want to know, do they have transportation? Do they have a car? What kind of car is it? Is it even a car, or is it more like a scooter, a motorcycle? Because a lot of poor populated areas and lower developed countries do not have actual cars. Most of the time they just have a motorcycle or a scooter to get them from home to work, and not really to transport their whole family. So that could be an issue, because how is that family going to be able to reach the recreational facility if they do not have a car? So these are all questions that are very important, particularly income. Again, we want to not necessarily exclude our recreational facility, but just due to disposable income, it's most likely going to be only visited by the top 50% of the population, and particularly the top 25% of the population. So just through that, it's going to become more exclusive just through disposable income and through natural economic factors. Um, and that is all. That is the case presentation. Thank you.